All right. Well, good evening to all of you. Owen Fritzen here with you again here on Wednesday afternoon. We do have a tornado warning that's in effect, so we are going to jump right into that. Keeping an eye on that cell I talked about earlier. We have been tracking this here, and it just kind of went enough rotation. Getting ready to come in the town of Marion. So this is for Marion. And so let's first of all read the text of the warning. If you're in the city of Marion, I'll start with this because it's so close to the city of Marion right now. If you're in the city of Marion, you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter. Get to the lowest level of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and make sure that you cover your neck and head. That is very important. So make sure you do that at this point, because I know that, again, this is, I'm sorry, I'm switching over the graphics here. This is for the city of Marion has been included in this. And let's go ahead and read the text here. So we have a tornado warning that is for Marion County and western Morrow County until 4:30. So this is, again, radar indicated rotation. They got it this around Marion right now at this exact moment. Cardington at 420, Mount Gilead at 425. So again, if you're anywhere in this polygon, you need to be seeking shelter and get to the lowest level of your house and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Move to a basement or interior room. Avoid windows if you're outdoors or in a mobile home and a vehicle. Get to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself, again, from flying debris. So there is, again, repeating, a tornado warning here. All right, for portions of western Morrow and Marion County. This is including the city of Marion. This is right on Marion's doorstep. So I'll say that once again. If you're in Marion, you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter at this time. There is a tornado warning now for you here in the central part of the storm. Let's show you what we're looking at here on radar. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the velocity, and let's go ahead and click over, take out some of this here for you. You can see that generalized rotation right here, right near the town of Marion. That's where we're looking. So kind of a general range area here. Because you got to remember, we look in here in the past, but right in this area is right where that rotation is currently at the moment. So it's probably encroaching Marion already, if not in the town of Marion. So again, make sure that you seek the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Let's take a look here, and just to check something here, I'm kind of looking at this with you. Let's go ahead and look at our correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient, again, shows us here our debris ball, if you will, if there is any. And a little bit here, it's kind of hard to tell with this one. I would say it's clean at the moment due to some of the storm tracks, some of the heavier part of that storm. There's some hail there, so it doesn't look like anything too crazy there at the moment. But again, there is definitely some radar indicated rotation here with this storm cell. If I look at regular velocity, yeah, we can see the rotation there. And yeah, so right near this cell, we're probably seeing some large hail. I know you're seeing some lightning with this as well, but this one comes back. And actually, let me flip over here to ILN. I can see it, in my opinion, I think. Let me look here. Yeah, I can see it clear here on Wilmington's radar site. I can see the rotation here much clearer on Wilmington's site. So that's I want to check one other thing real quick here. We actually are too. Let me flip over to terminal Doppler out of Columbus. We are in range of that. And right there is where the rotation would be, right outside the town of Marion. Wilmington still gives us the best shot. So we're going to flip back over to Wilmington. Wilmington gives us the greatest look at this rotation right now, and there it is. Let me go ahead and zoom right on in. There's the area of rotation that we're looking at here. I'm looking at some things here on the backside, and yeah, it's a little bit broader than it was, which is a good thing, but it again continued to possibly pulsate just a little bit. So flip back over to reflectivity. You can see it right in this general area here. There's going to be some rain wrap, so you're not going to be able to really see it, so you need to be inside and seeking shelter. Again, tornado warning here for Marion County, portions of Marion County and western Morrow County until 4:30. If we go ahead and drive this in a little bit, let's go ahead and take the let's go ahead and drive in the radar a little bit. You kind of see the rotation area is going to be basically State Route 203 and 95, Route 309 there. So we got a bunch of different areas here, kind of a lot of population center over the town of Marion. So again, this is right where the rotation area is. So if there is something that's going on there, you can see it here. Let's see. 1 second. Going to all right. Just looking here, something here, just reading some stuff here. Sorry, not to pause there, but just to read something here on the back side, just reading, talking to the rest of my team here as well. All right. So, yeah, they're definitely continuing to see rotation on this storm. So we're going to go ahead and just back this out just a little bit, but I wanted to show you right where the bulk of that storm is. It's heading right for State Route 23, fairly heavily traveled road there. So you need to, again, make sure we got, and it's, wind, as far as wind is not a big issue there, but definitely still got some issues there with some rotation. If I back this over to reflectivity, kind of see there, even some darker hail down here to the south. That's probably indicating some really good hail down there. But kind of zooming in here and looking at something called normalized rotation. It's another product you can't see on your screen. It still shows some broad rotation right over the town of Marion, pretty much right in this general area of Marion. Now, I could say the good thing is it's not as tightly wound as it once was. So that's a good sign. However, we want to respect the polygon, and we want to make sure that we are indoors seeking shelter. If you're out ahead of this, obviously the town of Marion, time's up for you. But if you're out ahead of this in Caledonia, this is heading towards you. So you need to make sure that you are seeking shelter. Let's put a track on it for you. And first things first, too, I want to check something here. Looks like the storm, they got it moving at 40, so it's picking up a little bit of steam, a little bit of speed. So let's go ahead and just, that's not what I want. Let me clear that. So if I kind of draw the major part of this storm, they got it moving at 40, so I got to zoom out here just a little bit. And yeah, we'll say right about there. So Caledonia, 414. You got about 5 minutes. You need to be in a tornado safe shelter now. If it holds together, Ontario about 446 and 451 into Mansfield. But Caledonia, this one's heading right for you. So time's up for you. You need to be in your tornado safe shelter as well. People, it's getting ready to cross right over State Route 23. Obviously, a heavy populated road coming from the north to the south to the Columbus area. And I'm going to flip back over here to base velocity. You can still see that area of rotation where it would be just to the north of Marion, getting ready to cross over 23. That is the area of rotation that prompted this warning. There's some broad rotation outside of that, but this is the rotation that prompted the actual warning as this moves here off to the northeast. So we'll continue to watch this, and let me go into, let's go ahead and flip back to our storm relative velocity. Kind of takes out that motion of the storm, and it's kind of fanned out to some broader rotation, which is a good thing. I'm going to flip back over here to Cleveland too and see what the look at it is coming out of Cleveland. And yeah, that's that generalized rotation that was there. And for good measure, let's just look at terminal as well out of Columbus. Kind of see where that generalized rotation would be. It's just now crossing State Route 23 at this point. The bulk part is right here crossing right over State Route 23, right in this area here. So if we zoom into that, the main area of the rotation would be State Route 23, and let's pop a name on this road. Let's see what road this is. I have to zoom in a little bit. This is Marion Williamsport Road. That would be right where the area of rotation is. It's Papa Road up here, County Highway 167, and even downstream of this. Let's go ahead and look at some of these other roads here for us. And as it's approaching to the northeast, it's County 195. So kind of see right where that rotation is, Williamsport Road, Marion Williamsport Road and County Highway 167. That's where the area of rotation is crossing right now. Now, like I said, if I flip back over to reflectivity, we're looking at terminal Doppler here, so it looks a little bit different. But the good thing is from what I'm seeing, it looks like it has lightened up quite a bit as far as the rotation. Now, if we look, and let me show you one other thing here too. Let's go back to Cleveland. And let me stop that. So if I go back in here, we're kind of looking here at some darker purples right where that rotation area is. So right in this area is where the rotation was, or is currently, I should say. So just out ahead of this, there's some very strong returns, probably some hail. So you're going to see some hail first and then a possible rotation behind it as it's looking at the moment. And the velocity is really cleaned itself up as far as rotation goes, and correlation coefficient, nothing too crazy. This probably is returning as hail due to the lineup of it there. I wouldn't be surprised to see if that would be hail. Now, when the tornado warning was issued, this definitely looked a lot more prominent than what it was or what it is. It was something that I was like, yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on that. So they finally issued that tornado warning. And I'm going to go ahead and loop here. Let's see if we can show you one thing here. Let me go back here and show you what it looked like when it first started. I know it's a little kooky on you there, but so looking out of the looking out of the Cleveland radar, when basically the first tornado warning was issued, you could see it's broadening up a little bit. It started to tighten up, and then the warning was issued right there. And basically what we saw on Wilmington's radar, and now as it's moved forward, it started to go on in more of a sporadic nature. They've updated tornado warning and trimmed back a little bit on it, but they still indicate some rotation, which is there. And I want to flip back to Wilmington, too, and kind of give you an idea here of what it's like. Looking at history, sometimes we can kind of see what these storms do and what they're projecting to do. So I'm loading up Wilmington here. And if I take it back, let me go ahead and take it back to when the warning was issued. It's still loading up here. So right before the warning was issued, you kind of see it's rolling towards Marion. I got a pretty strong spike return there, and so something was rotating, and then bam, right there is probably the strongest return that we have seen on this on the Wilmington site. And then right there was when we first basically came live right over the town of Marion. And you could see now as it's progressed, it's starting to become more broad in nature. It's not as tightly wound in kind of that couplet, and it's starting to fan out, which is, again, a good sign for this. So they have continued the tornado warning. So just kind of reiterating that for you. If you're anywhere in the tornado warning, also still including the city of Marion, along with portions of Marion County, you are still under a tornado warning. And western Morrow County, you're under a tornado warning that still goes until 4:30. They, again, trimmed the warning back, but you still are under a tornado warning until 4:30. This also includes kind of portions of Mount Gilead, Cardington, Green Camp, if you're in that area. State Route 23, the rotation is kind of crossed right over you. Right now, it is moving for Caledonia. So if you're in Caledonia, again, your time's up. You need to be in your tornado-safe shelter and making sure you put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Cover your neck and head. Obviously, if you're in a mobile home, you need to get out of that mobile home, and you need to get to a substantial shelter. Same thing if you're in a vehicle. Do not be outside during a tornado. So make sure, again, that you're getting to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You're not going to be able to see things here with this particular setup as far as the tornado. More likely, if there is a tornado, it's going to be rain wrapped based on the amount of precipitation that's preceding this. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And we're going to continue to stay with you because the latest scans continue to show this tightening back up once again. The latest scan that came in here, I'm looking here on another screen, just to the south of Caledonia, kind of where you're starting to see, you're seeing some more rotation here. And there comes the latest scan on this screen. Just to the south of Caledonia, and I'll put the tool up here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Right in this general area here, I'm circling this general area. This is where some rotation is now starting to form. Once again, it's starting to tighten back up and give us a little bit broader perspective here of some rotation. So we're keeping an eye on that. And if I flip back over here to velocity, yeah, that makes sense. It's starting to tighten back up just a little bit. So we're watching that area very, very closely. But nevertheless, if you're in the tornado warning again, make sure that you seek shelter. And I apologize. I had the tornado warning graphic up as far as the safety graphic. There you go. There's the area of rotation I was talking about just a moment ago. And it is still tightening back up. So if you're in that area, it doesn't really matter. If you're in the polygon, you need to seek shelter. But if you're in this general area here, that's where we're kind of continuing to see some rotation start to bevel out just a little bit. So let's go ahead and clear this, and then I'll stop this real quick. And apparently I didn't stop it. Let's do it that way. There we go. And we're seeing some, there we go, some range return problems there. So looking at this area here, again, you kind of see where this is starting to have a little bit of an inflow on the backside. That's the area that we continue to watch. So if we're looking at stuff, that's the area that we're continuing to watch, even if I back it up with storm relative velocity here as that loads up, or maybe loads up. National Weather Service feeds have been having all sorts of problems lately. Yeah, here's that generalized area of rotation that's starting to tighten back up once again, starting to make a little bit of a C shape here in the red area. So you're starting to see that, or in the outbound winds from the radar site. So we're watching that general area right there near Caledonia. So we're continuing to watch this right in this general area here just outside of Caledonia. And I'll zoom out here a little bit. So, and I'm not talking about, if I'm not talking about your town, I apologize. Tornado warnings take precedence. I'm not even looking at the comments right now. But they take precedence right now. We have tornado warning here. We do have obviously some stronger storms that have been approaching portions of the area. We do have a new tornado watch that's been issued. And we do have a really strong return coming out of Ashland here. You can see this really, really dark purple. And I just zoom over there real quick because that's indicative of some really strong hail. So if you're in that area, again, you probably want to make sure just outside of Ashland in the town of Polk that you get inside before the potential of some hail coming at you, because that is some really, really dark purples that we're seeing return there outside of the town of Polk. They still got it. They got a severe probability of hail of 1 point or 90% and 1 3/4 inch hail. So that's some very large hail just outside of Ashland, and we're seeing a really, really dark return on that. There is obviously a severe thunderstorm warning there for those areas, Medina and Ashland. So make sure you're seeking that advice too, and make sure you get inside and away from windows. So here we go again. The tornado warning again is continuing. They are continuing it, and again, we'll have to wait and see. We're getting to that point here on the latest scan where it's almost going to be. It's just to the southeast of Caledonia right now. You'll see the latest scan come in on your area on the screen here in just a minute, and it is starting to tighten up just a little bit once again. So the question becomes downstream of this: will they issue a new tornado warning for basically portions of Richland County and Morrow County? I would say and venture to say at this point, yes. I would say that that's probably coming, and not 100%, but it's something we're keeping an eye on. So I wouldn't totally. Yep. And speak of the devil, what do we got? We have a new tornado warning for Crawford, Marion, and Morrow. right, so even behind this, ahead of this, they've issued that new tornado warning as we were talking about. They did not include Richland. You'll see that pop up on your screen here in just a minute. So we do have a new tornado warning that's just been issued. And again, that'll come up on your screen here momentarily. But we do have a new tornado warning downstream of this one. So we do have a tornado warning for eastern Marion County, Morrow County, southeastern Crawford County. There it comes up on your screen. And they even went north a little bit on this to include southern Crawford County. So, and that's just because as this storm continues to move a little bit towards the northeast, it could encompass towns like Gallion and hit portions of southern Crawford County. So again, eastern Marion, Morrow County, southeastern Crawford County until 5 o'clock, you have a new tornado warning for you in that general area. And again, I keep looking over at this storm cell over here in Ashland. We are keeping a close eye on that, and the team is keeping an eye on that too, because it does have some rotation built into that one as well. So we're keeping an eye on that one as well near Ashland. So nothing overly concerning at the moment besides strong hail, but it has continued to show some signs of some small rotation here. So again, if you're just joining us, we do have two tornado warnings. Basically, one is replacing the other. We have this tornado warning, and we're going to reload here. Man, National Weather Service has had some major problems with some of their data providers and feeds and their infrastructure. So let me reload here and see if we can't get that to load up. We're having all sorts of problems here today with getting the products to load. Let's see if I can even get level 5 to load here, or level 3. I'm going to switch over real quick here while it's not working. Flip over some feeds. Yeah, let's see if the open feed works better right now. Keep having to click back and forth here with some feeds on it. All right, that'll give me my level 2 back at least for now. Good. All right, so what we got going on, I just read you the latest tornado warning. Basically, one has kind of replaced the other. You know, they kind of made it broad enough here because they're seeing some generalized broad rotation in any stretch of the event. They just trimmed the original warning back. So pretty much now you can say that this new tornado warning has replaced the old tornado warning because it now encompasses both portions of that. So if you're in the town of Gallion in southern Crawford County, North Robinson, you're just outside of it. Portions of Crestline, you're in it. If you're in the town of Gallion in southeastern Crawford County, you need to be in your tornado safe shelter as well. Time's up for all of you in that area. You need to respect the polygon, get to the lowest level of your house, and cover your neck and head. They did not put portions of Richland County in this just yet. And if it continues on the same path and trajectory, I would say the next warning probably would be for Richland County. Still shows signs here of some rotation. Again, just to the south of Caledonia. We'll flip over here and see what this looks like if it loads. Again, having all sorts of problems out of the feed provider here today. I keep bouncing back and forth here. And yeah, it's not even loading my other product for you. Let's flip over to level 3 data here. All right, so I'm just going to flip over to level 3 data here so we can get an eye on this thing and continue to look at it here. If we flip over here to our velocity product, that's not going to show you a great shot of that. Let me look at, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So I know this doesn't look as pretty. We do have a new tornado warning now for Champaign, Madison, and Union County. So we do have another tornado warning down south of this one. We were talking about this one a little bit earlier. Keep an eye on that. So there is a new tornado warning. I'm going to flip over feeds here. See if we can get the Wilmington site to load up. And all right, that one looks like it's working. So we have a new tornado warning. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth between the two. New tornado warning now down here. So if you're outside of the Champaign area, Champaign County, I should say, just outside of Urbana, we do have a pretty strong return of rotation down here. So this one is for east central Champaign County, southern Union County, and northeastern Madison County. This goes until 4:45. And we have radar indicated rotation on this one. This is showing some very, very strong signs of rotation. It's way stronger than the one that we're seeing up there in Marion County. And sorry, I'm kind of trying to read all these different things here. And looking at 45 screens, trying to keep everything up to date. Usually with the rest of the team here, we have a kind of run short-staffed, if you will, today. Usually we have a little bit more organization on some stuff, but I'm trying to keep up with all of that, so I sound a little bit miscombobulated. But this new tornado warning, so if you're down here, again, the new tornado warning, stronger than the other one. We have 2 tornado warnings on the board, actually 3. But east central Champaign, southern Union, and northeastern Madison County, this goes until 4:45. So you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter. Right now, the tornado is located near Mechanicsburg, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So it's right up here in this inflow area, this inflow notch area, right up in here. So that's where we're looking at some of that rotation, that stronger rotation that's coming out of that. And it is really starting to let loose a little bit. And we're starting to see a little bit of something on correlation coefficient. See if it shows up here. Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of some stuff here on correlation coefficient right outside of Mechanicsburg. Not going to say 100% that couldn't be hail, but there's definitely some rotation there. So this could be the start of something. We'll have to keep a very close eye on that. So right outside of Mechanicsburg, I was trying to zoom in there, outside of Woodstock, just north of Mutual, outside of Urbana. That's where we're starting to see some really strong rotation right in that general area. We're going to keep a very close eye on that as well. Let's flip back up here to our northern storm, and I know we're between radar sites and between products, but over here in our northern tornado warning, this one, again, they basically reissued it to include the first warning. That other one will expire on time, but this one here for eastern Marion County, Morrow County, and southeastern Crawford County goes until 5 o'clock. So again, let's look here at our base velocity. And that's not how it should look, but that's how it's coming in right now due to the feeds. That's a little bit better. There we go. You can see that generalized area of rotation. So you can see that area right there, just north of Mount Gilead, would be that generalized rotation. So basically out of that first polygon, just north of Mount Gilead, you need to be in your tornado-safe shelters as well. This is a lot of broad rotation on this one, and if we flip even to SRV, you can kind of see there right where the most intense portion of that, just north of Mount Gilead. Let's flip back over to reflectivity. Again, you got some large hail with that tornado warning as well. So down here in the southern storm, we're continuing to look at this, and we continue to see some potential of debris on the debris ball tracker radar, if you will, right outside the town of Woodstock, coming right in towards Woodstock. We're continuing to keep an eye on this. Not saying that there's anything there at the moment, but a few scans ago that was really pronounced. So we were really keeping a close eye on that one as well. You kind of see that inflow area right there near the town of Woodstock. And along with this, there's going to be some really heavy rains. I know we got lightning in these storms as well, and some large hail. They got a 1-inch hail marker on this tornado warning as well. And they're, again, you can see on your screen there, I'll zoom up here just a little bit. You can see that they got probability of hail 70% and severe hail, I should say, and 1 1/4 inch hail. Same thing with this northern tornado warning. They got this one also at 1 1/4 inch hail probability within this storm cell. So again, 2 tornado warnings that we have. There's a third one this side of one that basically is going to expire here in 3 minutes that will replace it. So we'll say it's 2 tornado warnings on the board right now. We have, again, this northern warning that goes until 5 o'clock. So this one has some broad rotation still with it and still embedded inside of it. And we're continuing to see signs of rotation there with this storm cell. And again, this is for eastern Marion County, Morrow County, and southeastern Crawford County. And if we continue to go over here and look at our other warning that was just issued here to the south, just outside of Urbana for east central Champaign, southern Union, and northeastern Madison County, that one goes until 4:45. So this one is looking a lot more pronounced and stronger than the northern one. This one has some generalized rotation. And they do have a 60, what do we got? 64. So they did have a thunderstorm gust there of 64 miles an hour at the Marion ASOS station. So that was a strong wind report that they have coming out of that one there in Marion. So again, if you're joining us, we do have 2 tornado warnings. The one in the southern portion here in Champaign County, a lot more pronounced that we're keeping an eye on before. They did say they had a funnel cloud report in Union County, but man, I don't know. Potentially, I guess, but it doesn't match up where the current rotation is. Maybe they had one a little bit earlier. But that latest report just got populated as well, just outside of there in Union County, just north of Marysville, actually. So maybe not on that one. Not 100% sure, because this storm, right where you can see this linear path. Let me go ahead and draw this out for you. Right here is where we're looking at the strongest area of rotation. It's getting ready to cross right over into Union County right now. That's right where the strongest area of rotation is at the moment for this southern storm. And I'm not sure what I kicked on there. Let's see here. I kicked on a product. I'm not sure which one I kicked on. I apologize for that. Kind of overlaid it. See which one I popped on there. Not sure. Let's just do this. Let's just clear the deck and start over. All right. Let's go ahead and flip it back over here. So there we go. Let's go ahead and turn back on our warnings. And there we are. Okay. So we got our storm relative velocity here. I just flipped this back up on the screen for you. Kind of see that area of rotation. Just getting ready to cross over here into Union County. This scan's delayed just by a touch here. I'm going to actually turn that on, live scan here. Just by a touch, but getting ready to cross over there into, right into Union County. This northern one, again, you can still see here, is now crossed in just north of Mount Gilead. This one continues to show signs of rotation. This tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock, and it's well into Morrow County now. We'll wait and see on the latest update. I'm very curious to see if they trim back Crawford County out of that. They probably leave it on because of Galleon. If you're in the Galleon area, you still need to be in your tornado-safe shelter. You need to, in Mount Gilead, Caledonia, you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter as well. Still seeing some broad rotation, and this could tighten up fairly quickly and produce a tornado. Definitely got enough push behind this that we're looking at it. And again, down here in our southern warning, again, you need to also be in your tornado-safe shelter. Portions of Marysville is inside of the tornado warning, so you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter as well. That one still continues to show some strong signs of rotation, and it's getting ready to plug right into Union County. And it's kind of, from what I'm seeing too, and I keep coming back to the southern one because the northern one just has more generalized rotation, but I keep coming back to the southern one, and I believe they just put a severe thunderstorm warning up for that because it's kind of riding right along that line. Yeah, there we go. Kind of see it's riding right along that line for Madison County and Union County. So this is the border there, Madison and Union. You can see the latest scan come in. The intense area rotation will be right in here. So I'm very curious to see. They might just let it ride, but the more intense portion of that seems to be just outside of the polygon. And not really seeing anything in correlation coefficient at the moment. But the most intense area of rotation seems to be just outside, again, of that polygon area. So if you're close to it, you still need to respect that polygon and make sure that you are indoors, away from windows, and seeking shelter. It's important to make sure you do that. You're not going to be able to see the tornadoes today. They're going to be rain wrapped 100%. You're not going to see that. But if you're caught in a tornado, you need to make sure that you need to get to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and be sure to cover your neck and head. That's important. If you're in a tornado, if you're in a mobile home or you're in a vehicle, you need to exit that vehicle and you need to get to the lowest level of your house. Reading and trying to talk at the same time. If you're in a mobile home or in a vehicle, you need to get into a substantial shelter. So I was trying to read and talk at the same time. It doesn't necessarily work when I'm trying to do that, I guess. But if you are in Plain City too, that's coming kind of right. The southern warning here, I flip back over here, is Plain City. Portions of Plain City is in the tornado warning. And looks like it's going to pass just north here, and I'll flip back over and see if we can give you a better shot here. This scan is delayed. I wonder if level 3 is coming in quicker. Yeah, it's a lot broader to show you, but definitely some rotation right here, a little bit more up to date, just south of Milford Center and Plain City is kind of right where we're looking. This scan is way behind for us here. And I may, let's see here. Let's see if I can flip over to something here. I'm going to flip over to another product because it's loading a whole lot faster. And looking at another product here and kind of show you what we're seeing. So this was going to be makes it a little easier for us. Doesn't give us some of the tools, but it gives us the nitty gritty of things. So I'm going to switch over here and kind of show you what we're looking at. So doing a little adjusting here because of some sources on our other radar product. So this northern storm, you definitely see here on this product, you can kind of see where that inflow notch is just to the north of Mount Gilead. And if we look here at our storm relative velocity, you can see here right there near Lexington would be kind of that area of rotation. It's getting on the fringe of this tornado warning, so we have to wait and see if they decide to reissue anything for Ashland County. Another product we're issuing and we look at is continued to be showing some rotation is something called normalized rotation. So this is a product that most generally off screen I look at, so it's nice that you get to see this. This is showing just generalized rotation at the moment, and it's broad, but it still is there and may be enough for them to issue another tornado warning. I don't know. This one goes until 5 o'clock, and I'm sure it's going to be allowed to be canceled early because that rotation is moving almost outside of that polygon right now. They just trimmed it back. You just seen it live right there. So we'll wait and see if they decide to issue that once again. But this one down here, this is what I was talking about earlier, kind of riding just to the south of that polygon. This is normalized rotation here. Let me zoom up here for you to see it. I apologize, not used to using this product here for the lives. But you kind of see it riding outside of that polygon. So Milford Center and Plain City, kind of the areas there. It's going to cross in between. Looking here, let's flip back over to base velocity here. Generalized rotation, but it's still there on something called normalized rotation as well. So this is what we got going on right now. And you can kind of see they've issued some of these megagons, as I call them, these large polygons for severe thunderstorms that we're looking at here as well. And let's go ahead and, there's a new tornado warning now for Ashland, Holmes, Knox, Morrow, and Richland counties. So they went ahead and expanded. You can just see it pop up on your screen here. I'll take us back up here towards Mansfield. They went ahead and reissued that warning, and they even drug it south just a little bit for these counties right here, which include southern Richland, southern Ashland, northeastern Morrow County, northern Knox County, northwestern Holmes County until 5:15. So again, we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that's located near Chesterville or 10 miles east of Mount Gilead, moving east at 50 miles an hour. Tornado and quarter-size hail have been indicated here. This would be around the town of Belleville around 4:40. So other locations impacted include Mohicanville, North Liberty, Perrysville, Waterford, Shock, Lucas, Gann, and Butler. So if you're anywhere in that area, in that polygon, you need to be seeking shelter because there is a new tornado warning that's just been issued here, and we're seeing this generalized area of rotation really concentrated up here in the north by Lexington, but they went ahead and reissued this in case the storm cell takes a little bit of a southern track. They went ahead and reissued this reissued this tornado warning to be a little bit broader to include the southern portions of it. All right, so this is the newest tornado warning, and we do have another tornado warning here to the south. Let's go not forget about the south storm here. And let's see here. On T-Day, we could probably get a better look at it to see what's going on there here towards our southern county here. Give it 1 second to load up. Maybe not. There we go. Yeah, definitely still seeing a little bit of rotation there near Milford Center. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to flip back up here to load up Cleveland here 1 second. I want to get another look here at this other storm cell. Just to the, yeah, we're going to be different colors on you because I switched radar sites. But I kind of see that generalized rotation here outside of Shock. And the latest scan, you can kind of see it just outside of Shock right here. Have a lot better product view with this, the way this one's loading up here right now. Yep. And yeah, let me actually look at something here real quick. We're moving here, 45, 271. This one, you got to do it manually. Yeah, that ain't right. 45 at 271. I apologize. I'm typing in the parameters here. That's better. All right, that's better to give us a better idea of the rotation and where it's at. So it's very broad, what we're seeing there just to the south of Lexington right now. And that's why they went ahead and reissued the tornado warning here. And we're continuing to see just some broad rotation. If we look at normalized rotation, this is another product that we see, and we kind of keep an eye on this one as well. Very, very broad, but we've had some spin-up type tornadoes here with it, especially over the past several, if you would say, the past several weeks. Keep an eye on this northern storm, too. We are looking at this near Shelby, so that's something else we're keeping an eye on. Let's flip over to our base velocity. We are keeping an eye on some rotation right there as well. And let me flip back over to SRV. And a generalized area of rotation just outside of Shelby and Richland County, too. So we are keeping an eye on that. We'll have to wait and see. It definitely has some inflow to it as well to see if they issue anything on that. But looking at normalized rotation again, you know, a couple scans there, we'll see if it tightens up a little bit. So anywhere in that area, too, you might want to make sure you kind of a heads up to you here in northern Richland County, kind of a heads up to you as well. If you're in Mount Vernon, this doesn't include the town of Mount Vernon, but portion of Knox County. So that's a good thing, a heavy population area there for the southern tornado warning for Mount Vernon, or for this northern tornado warning, I should say, of Mount Vernon. So let's turn it back over to reflectivity. You kind of see here very clearly and very pronounced where this hook is as it's coming in and being fueled right towards Lexington. Kind of see where that generalized area of rotation is right here. That's where the potential tornado would be. If we're looking at anything. And I'm going to flip over here to correlation coefficient, kind of the debris ball tracker. Still don't see anything on that. But we're still looking here right in that general area. You kind of see that nice inflow notch right near Belleville. So if you're in any one of these towns, Aikentown, Butler, Perrysville, Lucas, Fredericktown, Chesterville, Jelloway, you need to make sure that you're in your tornado safe shelter. And stay away from windows, get to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This other tornado warning is going to expire. This one goes until like 5 o'clock, so for all intents and purposes, that one's pretty much canceled. I'm not sure why it's even still on the board, but they still have it up there. So keeping an eye on that. And again, we're also keeping an eye. I continue to go back and look there at Shelby. in this general area up here. So some rotation that's going on right near the town of Shelby in northern Richland County. So if you're in that area, you might want to just make sure you adhere to the the severe thunderstorm warning and get inside, stay away from windows. Because that one, again, shows some signs of some broad rotation as well with that particular storm. Let's go ahead and look back at Wilmington now. Let's go back down here to our tornado warning in progress here for portions of Champaign, Union, and Madison County. Let's go ahead and get this loaded up for you. Not as tight as it once was here, and not even as pronounced as it once was. We still have a couple inflow notch areas, but this one is looking a lot better than what it was. But if you're in, again, the tornado warned area, you still need to seek shelter. Outside of this, I'll zoom out, and you're seeing obviously a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings outside of all of this line. So again, strong winds up to 60 miles an hour and potential of 1 inch or greater hail. We've seen some hail in the process of being about 1 3/4 inch hail earlier. Now we're about 1 inch hail in most areas, and we're keeping an eye here back in Champaign County, once again, just south of Urbana. So we're keeping an eye on a multitude of areas for you at this point. Some generalized rotation down there. Obviously, when we look at this rotation here, and I'm looking at something called normalized rotation. I'll zoom up for you. I apologize again. Just outside of Plain City, you can kind of see here the makings of rotation. So it's broad, which is a good thing, but still something to keep an eye on as we move forward here. They went ahead also, too. You've seen that it dropped off the screen. They went ahead and dropped that tornado warning that is expired, basically, and they let it expire off your screen. But there's still some rotation there that we're looking at. They did not reissue it. It's not tight enough for them to reissue it, but they're keeping an eye on that one as well. So there is no tornado warning now down towards the south. We have one tornado warning here, basically, on the board. You see two, for all intensive purposes. We'll kind of look here at the SRV. This tornado warning for basically northeastern Morrow County goes until 5 o'clock. Well, not anymore. They just dropped it. I was waiting for them to drop it. So they finally just dropped that, which we were waiting for. That's why I said for all intensive purposes, we only have one tornado warning up. And I'm loading here the latest scan coming in from the National Weather Service out of Cleveland. And you kind of see that generalized area of rotation right outside of Lexington. Okay, you kind of see that nice inflow notch. I keep talking about that. Still that nice inflow notch right near the area of Lexington. That would be the area that we're going to continue to watch and see it start to spin up. You can kind of match it up right outside of Lexington here. You can kind of see some rotation products, normalized rotation. Kind of see that's where it would be. So it's crossing just to the south of Mansfield right now. So if there were to be some rotation, it would be on the extreme southern portion here of Mansfield. I know we have a lot of people watching from Mansfield, so it's really, really close there on the southern tip of Mansfield, between Mansfield and Lexington. That's where that generalized rotation would be. And it looks like it continues to take more of a northeasterly track. So it looks like it's tracking up. It could clip here portions of eastern Mansfield. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. That's kind of which way that is tracking right now. And there's still some broader rotation here to the south, down near Aikentown and just outside of Butler. So that's why the polygon looks the way it does right now, because there's some generalized broad rotation here to the south. So there's two areas of rotation. You can see one here to the south and one here towards the north. And the latest scan that comes in still shows some rotation there on that northern one. We'll look at base velocity. Still shows some area of rotation. Not sure if we're seeing anything really on correlation coefficient, which usually is our debris ball tracker. Normalized rotation still shows some broad rotation. So if you're just joining us here, kind of recapping here, trying to catch my breath just a little bit. Put the radar back on here for you. Reflectivity, we're seeing some rain. We got some large hail with this. A plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings that have been with this storm. This line of storms that's crossed Ohio. You kind of see here this inflow notch area that we're looking at, this only lone tornado warning that we have here. And this goes until, what do we got here? 5:15 for southern Richland, southern Ashland, northeastern Morrow, northern Knox, and northwestern Holmes. So that goes until, again, 3:15. Let's see here 1 second. I want to see if my other product is back and acting the way it should. Okay, it is. So we're going to go ahead and flip back over to that product. So flip back over our normal product. This is the area of rotation that we're seeing here. We just talked about. Gives us a little bit better view, a little bit different color palette for you to view it on. This is that area of rotation just outside of Lexington, this generalized area of rotation that we're watching just outside of Lexington. I'll flip back over to reflectivity. Again, you can very clearly see that nice inflow notch as well. So I'm going to actually zoom out here real quick. And I know that, if you're in Richland County, I know we got a lot of people in Richland County. Get in your tornado safe shelter if you're in the portion in southern Richland County. And even in basically between Lexington and Mansfield, clips the southern portion of Mansfield, you need to be in that tornado safe shelter because we are seeing still some broad rotation with this storm. So you need to be in your tornado safe shelters at this point and get to the lowest level of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Cover your neck and head. Make sure that you're doing that. I'm going to zoom back out here just a little bit. Kind of see it's taking that northern track and it's continuing to push off towards the north. Now I'm going to zoom out here and I'm going to flip over here and turn on the tornado watch. So we've had another tornado watch that come out ahead of this. The first tornado watch here that we had, this one goes until 7 o'clock, and they're starting to trim back counties. So once this line's past you, it's pretty much over for the night. And then we had a new tornado watch out ahead of this that goes until 12 a.m. Those are posted on our pages as well. So if you're anywhere in the yellow area, I'll zoom out just a little bit, including our friends in the Mid-Ohio Valley. If you're anyone in the yellow area, you have a tornado watch. In the eastern part of this goes until 12 a.m. The western portion, back where the storms are, expires at 7. But again, they're continuing to trim this back as it moves forward. All right, let's go ahead and zoom back in here to our storm in question. Get a look on this thing here once again. You can see that beautiful, I would say beautiful, but a textbook area, inflow area of rotation there just outside of Mansfield. And chat, trying to see here anything else coming up here. Talking to the rest of my team. In just a second here. So if you're just joining us, we have a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have one tornado warning now that has impacted portions here of central Ohio, just to the south of Mansfield. So looking here at this tornado warning just outside of southern part of the Mansfield, Hayesville, Loudonville, in this general area, you're all under a tornado warning. And this tornado warning, as we click it here, goes until 5:15. They got this moving at about 52 miles an hour. If we flip back over and kind of look at the trend of this thing, it's taking more of a northern trend. Okay, moving towards Hayesville. So it kind of keeps that northern trend. There's some broad rotation to the southern portion of that, but we're watching that inflow area. You can see that inflow area. We continue to see that inflow area right here. That's where we continue to see this storm cell, and that's kind of, they got this moving a lot faster too. They got this moving at 52 miles an hour. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and put something on here for you. So I'm going to put this here. Man, they got that moving at, they got it moving at 50. So they got it moving at 91 at 50, which I disagree with them on that. Storm cell's not moving it, and it's moving this way. So at 50 miles an hour here, let's put this out. I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit, because it's now moving here about 40. And we're right on the 70 fringe. So if we put a track on it here, kind of looking here at some towns out ahead of this. Mifflin, 459, so you got about 5 minutes left on that one. 505 in Hayesville if it holds together. Smithville, if we're looking at Smithville, 536, 543 in Orville, Rittman, Marshallville, 547 it holds together, and Wadsworth, 552. So that's what we're looking at here. We're continuing to look at that track on it. Let's see here. I'm getting some communication in here for my team, and we're continuing to watch this area down here near Plain City. So that other tornado warning that happened down here, we're kind of watching that area. And let's go ahead and flip back over to that area real quick too, and see if we can see anything once again on that one. Of course, this would be when the feeds decide to not work correctly. Not sure what we're picking up on there, if we're picking up on anything. Let's see here. Go to our base velocity. Yeah, still got an inflow notch there. We're going to have to keep an eye on it, just outside of Plain City. So right in this general area, we've still got a little bit of an inflow notch there and some strong hail. So we're still going to keep an eye on that one as well. So we are continuing to see some signs there. It looks like a little bit of some radar range issues there, range folding issues on that. But our one lonely tornado warning that's issued right now here still has that inflow notch area. You can still see that inflow notch area right here, and that's what we continue to look at. I'll flip over to our winds. Looking at matches up perfectly with our winds there on the inbound and outbound winds. You can kind of see right outside of Loudonville this general area of rotation. If it holds like this, I would venture to say that they would not reissue the tornado warning. We'll have to wait and see. Right now they've left it go, but I would be very curious to see if it continues, because it is becoming much more broadened out, if you will, than it once was. So that's a very good sign for us, but we're still going to respect that polygon. They still got this one going until 5:15. So we'll have to wait and see here. That's a fairly long time for this tornado warning. We'll have to wait and see what they do. So they got another 20 minutes on this one. It's going to be outside the polygon within 20 minutes. So we'll have to wait and see here what happens. We're about almost 3/4 of the way through on this particular cell. All right, if you're just joining us here, we do have a tornado warning that's still in progress here for, we got a few counties that's still in this. We'll wait and see if they trim that back a little bit as well. For southern Richland County, southern Ashland County, northeastern Morrow County, northern Knox County, and northwestern Holmes County until 5:15. Still haven't seen really an update on this one. This came out at 4:36, so there's still no new update from the National Weather Service on this. So it's about 20 minutes old. They haven't even updated the text yet. Kind of the original polygon shape when they drew it. So we're kind of waiting to see if they do update that or cancel it altogether. I'm telling you that this particular cell is not as strong as it once was, which is a very good sign for those of you there in Richland County. And as it's getting ready to cross over into Ashland County right now, it's kind of a good sign for you. But you still need to respect the polygon for the time being. If you're in this area, you need to make sure that you protect yourself, get to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Make sure that you cover your neck and head. If you're in a vehicle or you're in a mobile home, you need to get out of that mobile home, get to the closest substantial shelter that you can find, because it's going to be a lot better than being obviously outside. Obviously, mobile homes as well can be lifted up and blown over very, very easily. So again, want to make sure that you, again, heed that advice, especially if you're in the tornado warned area at this point. Flipping back over here to just our regular reflectivity, you can see that area of inflow that we're looking at, and we've been concerned with that generalized area of inflow, that inflow notch area that we continue to see. And if we're looking at velocity right now, you can kind of see here, and I'll flip it over to storm relative velocity. It's a little easier for you possibly to see that area of rotation matched up right with that inflow area, but it's very, very broad at this point. So again, that's a very good sign for us here as we continue to head towards the 5 o'clock hour here in just a few minutes. And I know kind of from our side on an internal programming standpoint, if you will, I'm out of here in just a few minutes, and Ken McNatt will take over for me this evening as these storm cells continue to progress. Zooming out here, you do have a tornado watch that's in effect in this darker brownish area, almost yellowish area. There is a tornado watch now that's in effect for you. The western portion of this back here goes until 7 o'clock, and the new one that came out goes until around midnight. So those are in the Mid-Ohio Valley. It goes again until midnight. So as this storm line passes you, so if we flip back over to reflectivity, as this line continues to pass you, they're going to drop out these counties out of the tornado watch. So once it's past you, you're pretty much good to go for the evening. But if you're out ahead of this, still some instability out in eastern Ohio and even down here in the Mid-Ohio Valley as this storm coming through Columbus and stuff. This area still has a lot of good instability and maybe some shear with it. So wouldn't rule out a few isolated tornadoes, and we could definitely see some strong wind gusts with those as well, and some large hail. But primary threat really on those are going to be some really strong wind gusts, and we could again see an isolated tornado or two on that as it moves off towards the east. But once the line's past you, it is done for the evening. So again, our lone tornado warning, we're coming up here on the top of the hour, 5 o'clock. We have not seen any update. We have not seen this be trimmed back at all by the National Weather Service. So they have not updated it either. So my venture to say is they're probably going to allow it to expire early. This tornado warning goes until 5:15, but I'm curious to see here in just a minute if they allow this to be canceled. We're not seeing the pronounced rotation that we once were on the latest scan. You could see it come in there. We're losing our inflow notch as well. So be very curious here to see what happens in the next couple of minutes. We still have a tornado warning. They still have that issue. They have not updated it. Like I said, they've not sent out any updates on that. But I would think, and I would venture to say, if I had to put a little bit of money on it, that they're going to let this warning be allowed to expire early. Based on what we're seeing at the moment. I'm kind of waiting to see here on this latest scan from this, if we back it up just one scan, you can kind of see, sorry about that, let's back it up one scan. Radar products are not our friend today. Kind of see that inflow notch once it's loading up there die off. It's choking itself off, which is a good sign. Now it's becoming more of a straight line wind threat. So if we're zooming out ahead of this, and I'll kind of, for all intents and purposes, I'll zoom all the way out here. If you're out ahead of this storm, there's a plethora here. We got this humongous humongagon, and this little polygon down here covering portions of the Columbus metro area. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning for your area for straight line winds or strong winds that could be impacting your area. Seeing some large hail too, but not as strong as it once was, as pronounced. But there is definitely still some hail that's with these storms as well. And I'll pop up the hail markers there for you so you can see those as well. So half-inch hail. They used to be a lot stronger here in this northern edge, but they've since died down a little bit. Down here near the Columbus metro area, though, you do have 1-inch hail marker and some strong winds going to clip the northern part of Columbus. So there is a severe thunderstorm warning here for that area until 5:30. So if you're in that area, make sure, again, you get inside, stay away from windows while this storm passes. So we're going to continue to hang with you here for just a minute. We're going to wait and see if this tornado warning is allowed to expire. And If they do, we'll wrap it up, and Ken McNatt will take over here in just a few minutes. I just don't know. We've just seen no updates on that. It has been absolutely silent on this particular storm. As far as they've not updated the warning, there is absolutely nothing that they're saying on it. They just kind of have let it roll. So I'm very curious on. It'd be nice to have a little bit of an update from them. I'm just not seeing anything on the products like we were seeing there a little bit ago. Nothing really coming up on the products, and that inflow notch really has choked itself off now. So there's not, in the way of rotation, not much rotation at all. I'll put it back into motion, and let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit. You kind of see here that inflow notch is there, and then bam, it's still there a little bit just north of Loudonville, and now it's basically gone. So it's starting to choke itself off, which is a good sign. You can see this whole line now become more of linear and more of a straight line wind threat. So that's a very good sign. Oh, we just got our newest update on the tornado warning. All right. Woo. All right. So they trimmed it back just a little bit there, even though the area of rotation is probably going to be out of the polygon here in just a moment, but they did trim that back. All right, with that being said, I am going to allow Ken McNatt to take it over, so this broadcast will end. Ken McNatt will pick it up here in just a minute. As I end this broadcast, Ken McNatt will come back up, and he will kind of do a rundown for you what's going on and take you through the rest of this tornado warning. And so once he takes over here in just a minute, the live stream will start once again since we're switching over different locations. So with that being said, Ken McNatt's going to take it over. I'm out of here for the day. It's been a very long day for me. I'm out of here for the day. I hope you all have a great evening and stay safe. Be sure to rejoin the broadcast here in just a moment as Ken McNatt takes over here for the 5 o'clock hour.